After all those years of watching basketball, I think my favorite years were up until like 19. I mean, I watched every single game all the way through as a kid, listened to them on the radio, memorized different plays. I remember the Billy Ray Bates, all has to hurry, be done in a hurry. Kermit on the inbound play, inbound to Bates at the horn. That when he catches it and throws it in. And then it's interesting when you watch it because you see Bob Gross running around. He's still on the team at that time. And everybody's piling on top of Billy Ray Bates. I remember those days. I actually remember a game where Peter Goodmanson was posted up on Jabbar and did a behind the back pass around Jabbar up to the top of the free throw line, and Bates caught it, and then Jabbar turned to block, and Bates stuffed it right in his face. That was pretty amazing. I mean, there's just millions of amazing moments. I think there's a game that you never hear of nor see anything about it, but we were down by like 18 points going into the fourth quarter against Atlanta, I think back in like 84-ish, something around that time. And then we cut it to, I think we tied it. And then Jerome Kersey intercepted a pass and made it like a 70-footer at the buzzer to win the game. That was pretty crazy. Nobody ever, you don't hear that one too often. Just the hugest, biggest fan you could ever imagine over all those years, especially, I would say, like, it got really back into it about like 86 to 92-ish when, we had the Clyde Drexler, Jerome Kersey, Terry Porter era. And Jerome Kersey is one of my favorite players that's ever played in the NBA. That guy hustled his ass off. It's sort of like Tamani on steroids, though. I mean, Jerome Kersey dove on the floor on every possession, had some of the most powerful dunks I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he did one against the Lakers you see in the intro video where he just absolutely stuffs it right in Jabbar's face. Again, I guess the Blazers like stuffing the bar in Jabbar's face because Bill Walton did that as well. But yeah, I became a really big fan of the team back then. And back in this early, like late 70s, but then in 86 to 93, it was really like, oh my God. And then, of course, after that, they kind of fell off a little bit. And then around 2000s, when they had basically an all-star team with Sabonis, Pippen, Steve Smith, Rasheed Wallace. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And, since then, we sort of, we had the Damian Lillard era where we sort of got, well, I guess Brandon Roy got us out of the Jailblazer time frame. And then after that was Damian Lillard. And, we had a few good runs there. I never really liked the style of play, however. Like, I mean, I like Lillard. Like, there was those games where I was like, oh my God. Like, look at these incredible shots he's making. But the style of play that we played, where it's just sort of ISO basketball, where you sort of throw it to Lillard and everyone stands aside, I'm not really a big fan of that style. I love the style of play that they're playing now. However, we don't have people that can shoot very well. So that's a problem, but their hustle alone can win them some games. I predicted they'd win 48 games this year before the season started. I'm still on that. It's I think they need to still kind of mesh together. This is a brand new team playing together. So, I mean, there's just so many references that I have over time where I have like memory of so many different plays. One of the things that people don't really talk about ever, but I think is one of the best sort of moments in Blazer history, even though it's not, it's not a championship, it's just a regular season game. But I think it was the 86. This is when I knew the Blazers were going to be good. Was in 1986 when the Blazers were playing the Boston Celtics in Boston. And the Blazers won. I mean, so they won a really close game and they won. But that year, the the Boston Celtics were 40-1 at home, and the Blazers, out of all the teams in the NBA, had that one win. And that was right around the same time frame, maybe the year after or year before that, is when Larry Bird hit the game-winning shot at the buzzer from the baseline over Jerome Kersey to win by 1. But that just showed you that the Blazers were on the right path. And it was when they got Buck Williams is when they finally made that next step. And basically, I don't know what happened against the Pistons. We go to Detroit and almost win both the first 2 games, one game 2, but game 1 we had that one and just sort of lost it at the end. And then we go back home and lose 3 straight. I remember the shot. Danny Young shoots it from about 50 feet and makes it, but it's after the buzzer. And I just never liked Danny Young at all. I don't know why the hell he was even on that team. Drazen Petrovic should have got every single moment that guy ever got. And in terms of my favorite players of all time on the Blazers, I would say would be Petrovic, Sabonis, Kersey, Clyde Drexler. You got to love Walton. He just didn't play very much. Neither did Sabonis, really. I mean, we didn't see Sabonis until like way late in his career. Had he come over when he was drafted in '86, we drafted Sabonis and Petrovic in the same draft. And it shows you kind of the genius of the people that were drafting. Now, those are 2 of the greatest players that have ever played from Europe. You can ask players today about Drazen Petrovic. They'll tell you he's probably the best shooter they've ever seen. He was like a robot.
All right, for those of you who do not know who Drazen Petrovic is.
Oh, Lord.
Man, and I tell people this, Curry is the GOAT of all shooters. Look, I'll give him all that. But before him, man, you could be this close to the mic. You could be this close to him. Didn't matter. And not only is he giving it off, he's telling you about it too.
Yeah, you don't know what the hell he's saying, but he just bobbing. He's talking shit.
This dude was the best shooter, catch and shoot, 1 dribble, 2 dribble. He did not miss. No, literally. And I said to myself, how in the hell was he not playing in Portland? But you had Clyde there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I would watch him practice over at the JCC, and he would just absolutely school everybody. Drazen Petrovic, he'd be playing against Clyde, and he'd just score every single time down the court. But he wasn't going to get any minutes in Portland because of Clyde Drexler. I mean, obviously Drexler is a top 50 all-time player, and he's just not going to get any minutes. So they traded him to be nice to him. And then he did really well as soon as he went to New Jersey. Second year, he did pretty good. And in his third year there, he averaged 23, I think around 23 a game, shooting a ridiculous percentage from 3-point. I just can't imagine how good he'd be today. I mean, my God, he'd come around a pick and he'd probably shoot 15 threes a game and make 8. I mean, the guy was absolutely incredible. So there we have it on that.